Hello, you beasts. Today I want to do something different and talk about some lore in World of Warcraft, and how much that the lore connects to the Norse religion, and also the Esteru religion, which is modern day Norse religion. Blizzard has based a lot of the Titan lore around it, and some cool little facts surrounding it as well as that directly connects to these religions. This is something different, and I hope it's very amazing, and I hope you guys really enjoy, so let's get into it. In older WoW lore, it was thought that the Titans shaped Azeroth to their liking, making everything from the trees to the cold north. But later on the lore changed. The Titans found Azeroth like that and only helped shape the beings on it later, as well as some constructs and buildings. This is also like the Norse religion. Back in the old days, it was believed that the Norse gods shaped Midgard, which we know as Earth, from their own hands, as well as shaping humans from logs from the trees. But some modern day Astarus don't believe this anymore. Since science has shown us different things, some believe that the gods simply found us and told us about the ways of the universe, and had granted us access into their afterlife, but only if we believed and lived with honor in our hearts. But moving on to the Titan creators. The Titans made up two types of beings to fight the old gods when they found Azeroth. There were metal storm type that belonged to the pantheon Aesir, and earth giants that belong to the Vanir pantheon. This is also very similar to the Norse lore, because some of the gods belong to the Aesir pantheon like Odin, Tyr, and Thor, and they were known as the warrior gods. Others, like Njordr, Freya, and Fyr, belonged to the Vanir pantheon, and were mostly fertility gods or goddesses, and had a very strong connection with nature. The WoW Titan Keepers could be seen as the Norse gods, as they would watch over Azeroth for the Titans. And some of them were named Odin, Tyr, Loki, Thorum, Hodir, Helia, and Freya. And I'm gonna go into a tiny bit into some of these. There were a couple other Titan Keepers, but I couldn't find their links to Norse gods. I believe that, for example, the Titan Keeper Ra has a connection to the Egyptian mythology instead of Norse. This would help explain why some of the Titan Keepers look like jackal men, sort of like Anubis, for example. So let's talk about Odin. Odin in WoW lore was named Prime Designate by the Titans, which means he was the leader, per se, of the Titan Keepers, which relates to Odin, the Allfather, being the leader of the Norse gods. Tyr, in WoW's history, lost his arm in battle to the mighty proto-Drake Galagrond. Tyr pulled Galagrond to the ground and began to mercilessly beat him, even as Galagrond began mutilating further, as he began to resemble a true dragon. In the battle, Tyr's hammer and the spark of Tyr were knocked free from his person. Tyr reached to grab the spark, just as Galagrond's massive maw came within range, and the monster clamped down on Tyr's hand. Malygos moved to save Tyr, examining the bloody stump as Galagrond roared in triumph and grew even larger. Galagrond was eventually defeated, but I want to focus more on Tyr, that he lost his arm in that battle. And in Tyr, in the Norse mythology, lost his arm as well to the mighty wolf, Fenrir, who is also in World of Warcraft now. You see, the gods attempted to chain up Fenrir from the visions that Odin had that he would one day bring upon Ragnarok and the death of the many of the Norse gods in a great battle. They chained Fenrir up in mighty steel, telling him it was only to test his strength, but they simply wanted to keep him bound forever. But Fenrir broke through it. They made the steel even stronger, but he broke free again. Odin then tasked the dwarves with enchanting a fine ribbon that would shock Fenrir if he attempted to remove it. Fenrir knew it was a trap and told the gods he would try to remove it, but only if one of the gods put their hand in his mouth so he could bite it off if it were a trap. Fenrir believed that if there wasn't a trap, then they had nothing to worry about. Tyr stepped up. He put his hand in Fenrir's mouth. And I mean, after all, Tyr took care and fed Fenrir when he was just a pup. Fenrir was in Asgard when he was growing up, and Tyr and him got along very well. But he also did it for another reason. He believed that everyone deserves justice, no matter what. It was not just of the gods to do this to him, so he thought it was only fair. And of course, it was a trap, and Fenrir bit off Tyr's hand. I could go on about each of the storylines of the gods and the Titan Keepers, but their stories are pretty much different from here on out. For example, Helia in WoW's history helped Odin, and then she felt betrayed by him and enchanted the Halls of Valor to keep him and his warriors trapped. But in Norse mythology, Hel played a little bit of a different role. Odin didn't know her true intentions. He didn't task her with anything that she could do to betray him. For example, Hel wasn't a Valkyrie, I should say, in Norse mythology. She is the ruler of Helheim, and she watched over the dead, and she was not seen as good nor evil. So there is a huge difference there, but the reference remains the same anyway. Loken can be linked to the Norse god Loki, by name, again, not by actions. Thorum to Thor, who, by the way, had a wife named Sif in Norse mythology as well as in WoW. Hodir and Hodir. And of course, Freya and, well, Freya. While many of the stories are different, their messages remain the same, from the gods to the keepers. But this video is more about Blizzard's love for mythology, and Norse mythology has been the inspiration for a lot of WoW. I don't think they could have picked a better religion, in my opinion. Some small facts to point out is that Magni, Bronzebeard, for example, is named after the Norse god of Thor's son, Magni. And if that wasn't enough, Travis Fimmel plays Ragnar Lothbrok in the TV show Vikings, and he also plays Anduin Lothar in the upcoming Warcraft movie. Coincidence? Pff, definitely not. I also want to talk about the Valkyr in WoW that were created by Odin, well, I should say forced. Helia, being the first, would seek the righteous dead and bring them to Odin's Halls of Valor, so that the warriors could be Valnijar along his side. In Norse mythology, the Valkyrie are a little different. Valkyries represent a part of Odin's being. They're a part of his greater self. Of course, he tasked Freya with keeping them in check, but they all belong to a part of Odin, and that's why Freya is known as the Queen of the Valkyries. In the Norse mythology, the righteous dead would be taken to one of two places. To the halls of Valhalla, which was a place in Asgard, which is the home of the gods. The halls belonged to Thor, which a lot of people believed that they belonged to Odin, but Thor had dominion over these. I guess he was allowed to. The hall's actual name is I'm going to butcher this so badly. Bilskirnir. I actually think I did a very good job on that. Of course, this hall is actually located within the inner citadel of Asgard, known as Gladselm. And these halls belong to Odin, and is also home to 12 other gods. The second place that the Valkyrie would take people is at Freya's side. She would choose the best warriors to serve alongside her in the Valkyries. But what if you didn't die in battle? Well, then you would go see Hel, and then she would decide where to put you. For example, the old and sick wouldn't get tortured for all of eternity, like a lot of people believe. That's a big misconception about Norse mythology as well. But you would go to Helheim, which is the realm of the dead that you could not escape. But even the gods couldn't leave that realm of the dead. But rightfully so, the dead should be where the dead are. Odin in WoW, another interesting point, would be Odin in WoW has one eye, same as the Norse god, for different reasons. In Norse mythology, Odin sacrificed his eye for visions. In WoW, it doesn't really say much. Maybe it was a flaw in the Titan's creation. Maybe he simply was only made with one eye. We don't know. It hasn't really touched on that so far, but Legion is coming soon, and maybe we'll see. Odin also has a disguise that he uses to walk around the Broken Isle, and without spoiling his name, he walks around with two ravens named Halnan and Malnan. These are direct reference to his ravens in Norse mythology. And his dragon Sepnar refers to the Norse Odin's eight-legged horse Sleipnir. I probably butchered that, sorry. So, in World of Warcraft, and as well as Norse mythology, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is the World Tree. In Norse mythology, there's a world tree called Yggdrasil, which connected the 9 realms, or the 9 worlds, of the mortal and the gods and dwarves and elves as well as all of that. In World of Warcraft, they sort of did the same thing. There's a bunch of world trees though. Nodrasil, Teldrassil, Vordrassil, and finally Shalaldrassil, which is the new one that's on the Broken Isles. And these have been, they do usually different things. Some of them are home to different deities, which are known as the wild gods, like Yursok, for example, whose home is Vordrassil. So this is a lot to take in. But what do you guys think? I think it's really amazing that Blizzard was able to take all of this and put it in game. Or do you disagree? Do you think that they should have started from scratch, made their own mythology, and had no references to any others? But again, I personally love it, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And please remember to like and subscribe for more. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. So, before I go, I just wanted to say one last thing. I talked a little bit today about the Norse mythology and a little bit about the Asatru religion. And I mean, if you don't believe in the Norse gods, that's okay. If I'm not gonna try and make you guys convert. But this quote, I want to leave you with a quote, and this quote means a lot to me. It resonates inside me a little bit, and I try and remember it day to day. And this is the heart of Odinism. We do not bend our knee in supplication to the gods and goddesses, nor do we beg for them to do for us. Rather, we ask them to empower us to do for ourselves. We neither need nor ask our gods for forgiveness. We are not born into sin. We are born to be the best that we can be. I really love this quote, and it means a lot to me. I don't want it to force it down anyone's throat, but I just thought I'd read that. And I'd like to thank you guys again for watching. It's been an interesting time, and I hope there's a lot more to come. I'll see you later.